So in this video, we're going to talk about diversity management. Okay. Diversity management means these are programs to recruit from diverse groups, typically protected groups, to promote tolerance within your firm and to modify cultures to include non-mainstream employees. Here's some aspects of diversity management that are important. First of all, leadership from the top is so important. As a manager, you need to make sure that your subordinates understand the importance of diversity management and equal opportunity, and not just preach it, but also live it. If you have a boss that's racist or behaves in an inappropriate manner towards members of the same or opposite sex within the workplace, your subordinates will follow that lead. So you've got to lead by example at all times, and anytime there is any sort of subordinate who has come to you with an issue, hey, I think I'm being sexually harassed, whatever, you have to take that stuff very seriously. First of all, the fact that a subordinate trusted you enough to come to you with some sort of an issue is a compliment to their faith in you as a leader, because they could have just as easily gone to HR and filed their complaints that way. So if they can come to you first, you really need to take that seriously, and you need to not judge them. Okay? Encourage people to come to you with their problems. Sometimes changes in organization structure can also facilitate the inclusion of maybe non-mainstream employees. Maybe having different management teams kind of be made up of different kinds of employees would be more helpful than perhaps segregating members of certain groups in like strategic business units. So you want to have kind of a good mix of employees throughout the firm, not just within different units of the firm. Of course, training programs are great. I would advise that you take the training programs seriously. I have seen some training videos on equal opportunity on YouTube, and they're just terrible. I don't think anybody would take those seriously. In addition to the training programs, sometimes people do and it's kind of hokey, things like bowling and kind of team building activities. Again, to kind of build some degree of camaraderie among employees. Employees that like each other and get along well are probably less likely to have issues with equal opportunity or diversity issues. So you really want to build that camaraderie within the group. I am of a mixed opinion on this piece of advice, but a lot of people give it anyhow. Sometimes you can give mentors specifically to women and minorities if you think that there's issues of isolation in firms, especially in firms where a lot of the senior management is Caucasian and male. I don't know if that's always a good idea or not. People from minority groups may feel that in some ways they're being disrespected, i.e., why do I get a mentor just because I'm a minority? And they may be offended. In some ways I feel like it's condescending. I think a better approach is to give everybody a mentor, irrespective of what member of a protected group they're in. Just give everybody a mentor, and I think that's really the best way to handle this, as opposed to just giving a mentor to members of protected groups. Data collection is important for managing a diversity program, but it's a very flawed system. A lot of the big parts with data collection are contingent on members of protected groups self-reporting. So you can't say, oh, well, you look a certain way, therefore I'm reporting you as members of these protected groups. It just doesn't work that way. Even something as objective as veteran status is considered a protected group. Personally, I'm a veteran, and yes, I suppose if you dug around enough, you could probably figure out that I was in the service, and I'm sure my service record is stored somewhere, right? Even if I showed you my service record, I still have to choose whether I self-report as a veteran or not. So where I work at the university now, they send an email, for diversity purposes, fill it out. If I ignore the email or I choose not to identify as a veteran or anything else, it can give the appearance that my university does not hire a sufficient number of veterans. Okay, so it's self-reporting. There's no way to objectify that criteria. Always make sure your policies are up to date and are reflective of a robust equal opportunity program. Furthermore, you should always make sure that you have an equal opportunity advisor, prevention of sexual harassment advisor, maybe an ombudsman, some sort of a hotline set up. You want to make sure that there are as many ways that an employee can resolve these kinds of issues as possible, because as a manager, you're better off dealing with these issues in-house than having an outside law firm come after you. That's usually a bad thing. Let the issues be dealt with in-house. You'd be amazed a lot of times, these things can be resolved within the firm. And of course, if you have people, or if you have a culture and an organization that doesn't tolerate that, some of these things can still be resolved amicably. I know in one of my jobs there was a guy, I don't know what his problem was, he was always making comments about women, and it just wasn't appropriate. And none of us thought it was funny. And several of us confronted him about it and told him he needed to stop that. And he realized that it wasn't funny, and he apologized to the women that he insulted, and we all worked together for another 3 years, and there were no other issues. I can't say that they were friends afterwards or anything like that, but I would say at least it was resolved in an amicable enough way that a normal professional relationship could resume. So again, having that culture that shows no tolerance, and this didn't involve managers at all. We were all peers telling that individual that his behavior was unacceptable. So again, have that culture, but if the culture fails and people don't feel comfortable coming to their managers, then make sure you have advisors who can help out with this, and make sure you keep all this in-house. Great. So our next module will be a discussion of corporate governance, a very interesting topic. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next module. Thank you.